Hello, team, and thank you for joining us. So, where do you stash your cash?
That's right. Where's the craziest places that you have stashed cash or that you know maybe your parents or your grandparents have stashed it? Heck, maybe you found it on accident. We'd love to hear that. Comment below. Tell us all about it.
That is what the show is about today.
That's right.
Crazy places of stashing your cash.
So, thank you again. We are John and Tara Thorman. We are money coaches. All right. We are here to help you fix your finances so you can win your money game and improve your relationship with money and with your spouse. Right. So important. All right. So, let's talk about stashing cash. Now, why do people stash cash?
They're afraid.
That is a big driver.
One.
Right? Number one, I think you're right about that. So we got two drivers here. We got the rational side of our brain and the emotional side of our brain. And man, if you are gripped with fear, emotions are totally dominating. They're taking over, right? So let's look at the emotional reasons. And this is really interesting. Some of it is inherited, right? Like it's generational. It's passed down from old trauma, okay? And here's what we know. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, 9,000 banks went belly up. 9,000 went broke. And back then, there was no FDIC. So there was no insurance, which means if your bank went broke that had all your money, you lost everything. You lost all your money. Could you imagine?
No.
Like crazy devastating,
So different.
okay? So that seared the conscience of that generation, all right? And so then it's been this distrust or mistrust of banks ever since, and that just got passed down through the generations. And you may not even be aware of it consciously, but subconsciously that you got some of that, right? So that's the emotional part of this. And so let's talk a little bit about emotional parts of stashing cash and some fear. I want to hear your story, honey. Tell people a little bit about your experience.
Well, yeah, when I was a single mom, it was difficult at times, and I began saving money at home in a brown bag.
A brown paper lunch sack,
Yes, I did.
right?
Yeah. It was just, I just knew where it was, and I would count it, and it was safe. I felt safe, and the money was safe, and that's how it needed to be for the time that it needed to be that.
And what's crazy, guys, the brown paper bag, right? And she tossed it under the bed. And then you counted it every
Every
night.
night, I did.
Oh my goodness. Aren't you glad you're not there anymore?
I am thankful.
Thankful. So that's an emotional side. So I would like you to type 1 if you think that's the craziest thing you ever heard in your life, and 2 if you've done that yourself. All right? Put the comments below, and be sure to share with us your craziest story, right? Maybe you knew grandma had it in a old suitcase in the attic or something. I don't know, but let's put them in there. Now, that's the emotional side, right? The rational side, there's actually some valid reasons to stash cash at home. So let's go over some of that because this is important for you. And number 1 is disaster preparedness, okay? Now, depending on where you live, the disaster is going to be different, right? If you're up in Minnesota, okay, you get like snowstorms and ice storms and
11 months out of the year.
11, yeah. You can be out of power for a long time. You could lose the internet for a long time. And this is the digital age, right? Whoop. We got our smartphones over here, and with our apps, we're passing money around, right? Between Venmo and Zelle and PayPal, like we're directing money digitally, but we got to have a cell tower signal. We got to have internet connection to make that happen. And depending on, the storm, if you're in Florida, like we are, you can be in a hurricane and you can lose that ability to connect digitally to access funds. So the way that you protect yourself is being prepared for that potentiality by having cash stashed at home, right?
Very important.
We want to make sure you got the essentials, that you can buy the essentials with cash for about 2 weeks, I think is reasonable, right? But that means you need food and fuel and medicine at the bare minimum, right? So what do you think would be a good amount of money to stash?
1 to 10.
1 to 10,000?
Depending on the size of your family,
Right.
what your needs are, and
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah. So there is some guidelines. The point is we want you to be empowered, for you to feel confident and have peace in your soul, right?
That's right.
So pick a number and then stash it. We just then got to figure out where you're going to put it. Like, is it going to be in a wall safe behind a photograph? Or we're going to go over that, and we're going to talk about the crazy places and some new crazy places that you're going to find really interesting. So stick around for the whole video, okay? But disaster preparedness is one serious rational reason why you need to stash cash. Another one is you're a criminal and you're involved in a criminal enterprise and you need to launder no, I'm just kidding. Kidding. That's not a good reason. Okay, another reason is maybe you are in a side hustle and you're buying people's treasures, right? At a garage sale or a yard sale or a flea market or all that kind of stuff. That's a cash business, right? You buy something for $5, $10, $50, $100, whatever, and then you fix it, or you just know where it's got more value, and then you resell it to make money. You need cash, right? So those are some good, solid, rational reasons to have some cash, and a little bit of a guideline on how much. You need to figure that out for yourself, but probably somewhere between 1 and 10,000 in cash. Okay. All right. Now, the craziest places that you have seen or that we have heard about where people are saving cash, and it's like, grandma's got money stashed somewhere in that house, right? You know it, but you just don't know where. So let's talk about where that might be. So there's plenty of really great stories, okay, of people that buy old homes. And they go in to renovate and remodel those old homes. And what do? Like, first, you got to open up the kitchen, right? So we're going to take out that wall and we're going to move this over here and do that and do that. And they bust open the wall and find the wall full of stacks of cash, tens of thousands of dollars. Could you imagine? That'd be like stumbling across a pirate's buried treasure somewhere. But this happens. Now, I'm not recommending you start tearing your walls apart in your house if you have an old home.
And
don't do that.
You need to return it or attempt to return it.
Yeah, there's some legal issues surrounding that.
Depending on what state you live in.
Yeah, that you might want to check with an attorney if you find that money. So be careful about that. That is a good point.
Honest.
We read about that while we were investigating this. And let's say you're pulling up the floor boards because you're going to replace the flooring. Stacks cash in the floor joists, in between the floor joists, loaded up, like it happens. So don't gut the house just to search for money, but it does happen. So another interesting, crazy way people stash their cash: old furniture, like old desks or filing cabinets or whatever. Some of them have hidden compartments on purpose where people would stuff cash. And other times there's no hidden compartments, but they would just find a way to stick it in there.
Right.
And when you start taking that furniture apart to refinish it or whatever, it's like, oh, look at that. There's all this money in my old desk. So that was pretty cool. Now, let's talk about some of the classic places where people stash their cash. You threw yours under the bed, but there's lots of people that stick their cash in the mattress.
The mattress, in between, yeah.
Right?
Or tear it open and sew it inside. Mattress cover, yeah.
All right, unbelievable. Or, you know why they call it the cold, hard cash?
Freezer.
Because they put it in the freezer. That's right. So you can take out, your fish stick box, feed the kids or feed yourself the fish sticks. But then don't throw the box out, load it full of cash, and then stick it back in the bottom of the freezer. There you go, hidden, right? Also, people will put cash in a Ziploc baggie and then stick it in the toilet. Obviously not the toilet bowl, but the tank, the reservoir behind. They can stick that down in the water and hide that, and it's quick to get to.
Right.
Which brings me to another point. This is important, okay? If you're stashing cash, you got to be strategic, okay? And you need to know where it is, but make it easy on yourself so you can get it quickly. We've read stories about people that their house is literally burning down and they died because they were trying to find their stashed cash. Don't let that be you, okay? If you're going to stash cash, make sure you know where it is, and B, make sure it's easy to get so you can do it quickly and get out when your house is burning, okay? All right, so some other classic places the coffee can,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And that could be in the house or it could be buried next to the tomato plants in the garden,
Yeah.
right? Just know where it's at, okay? Sock drawer, classic. Old suitcase, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cookie jar,
Yeah.
right? That's another classic one. What else?
Mhm.
You know what I liked is inside a curtain rod. You know the
Oh,
decorative
yeah.
curtain
The big-
rods,
The thicker one. Yeah.
right? They're pretty thick, right? They could be 1.5 inches, 2 inches in diameter or whatever.
Take the ends off.
You could roll a whole bunch of cash inside of one of those things. Yeah. Oh, the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
If you put money in it, I'd never find it because I don't vacuum.
Huh.
Right? I mean, that's not my thing. But anyway, that's another one. I liked roll of paper towels. You know, inside the paper towel roll, you can stick cash in there. Loose bricks around your fireplace or stone, you know, around your fireplace, you can pop that out, stick some money in there. I don't know, people do it. All right, so now let's get into some new crazy ways that people are stashing their cash. Okay, and I learned a new term. It's called a diversion safe. Okay, you can Google that, but the point is a diversion safe is where you're hiding money in plain sight. Okay, and it's super cool. So let's take a look at some of these new ways that you can stash your cash in plain sight and get at it quickly. Here we go. Number one, you want to decorate your house. You want it to look pretty, right? Have a little plastic flower plant. You can see there's a lock on the lid that's down below the fake soil, but hidden inside we got gems and cash. So that's a good place to hide cash right inside, right? Number two, look at this. Zoom in. This is the New English Dictionary, but it's not. There is a little combination lock on that thing, and stick it on your bookshelf, and no one will know what's going on. You like that one? Did you like? I know you like the dictionary, so that's why I put that one in there. Here's the one that you mentioned. This is really cool, guys. I like this. This is a fake electric outlet in the wall, and so no one would guess that that's a secret little safe.
I know. And there's a whole bunch of them, and I think that's genius, actually.
Yeah, and there's a couple other examples like this. It's like the cold air return grate in the wall, but it's not a cold air return. It's actually what do you call it again? A diversion safe hidden behind your cold air return.
The fake drain.
That's another popular one. Here we go, guys. The clock in the kitchen or your den or whatever. Not just a clock. It's where we're hiding some gems. Next up, classic, right? The nice little family photo box. But this one's special because we're able to hide cash and watches and gold and coins and whatever you want to in there, right? All right, next up, let's take a look. All right, this is for stacking surfer, right? Stacking surfer. If you're into stacking silver and gold coins as a way to stash some cash, you want to go check out his channel, Stacking Surfer. He's awesome out in California, but he loves root beer. So I saw this. This is a fake root beer can, and inside we got treasure.
But his favorite is IBC, not A&W.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's okay.
Yeah. All right, next up, the pantry,
I love that.
right? Do people eat whole kernel corn anymore? Is that still a thing?
And the corn casserole at Thanksgiving.
Oh,
You
okay.
eat about 4 cans of those.
Do you? All right. So there you go, guys. Del Monte, you can, I think they have one with peaches too. But you got options, but stick it in the back in the pantry. No one will be the wiser. Just don't forget. And maybe you should make a little bit of a list somewhere, like where you've stashed this all in your house, right? You can forget. Now, this is the coolest.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea this was even a thing. This is a trailer hitch safe. And it works with any trailer hitch, I think. But there's a combination locking mechanism in there, and you pop that thing out. You can stick in your credit card. You can stick in a bunch of cash, but that's cash on the go right there. That's the velocity of money. That money's moving, right? I love it. And this is a headrest safe. So you can put that in your car or your truck, and you can stick all kinds of money or gold coins in there, or personal protective mechanisms, if you know what I'm talking about. Uncle Charlie and his 6 cousins. that goes right there in the headrest. I thought that was pretty cool. And out in the garage, you could have, you know, the Armor All can. It's not Armor All. The base unscrews, and there's your diversion safe with cash and everything inside. Woo! All right, guys. So what do you think of those options for stashing cash in your house? Old luggage in the attic, down under the floorboards, or inside the wall cavities. I don't know. But do share with us some of the craziest places that you know of where people have stashed their cash. Love to hear that story. Please give us a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, share this with others that think you could benefit from this. And we're traveling. Yeah, sorry, we're not in the locker room, obviously. We're traveling, and Tara is running a half marathon tomorrow. Yeah, so say a prayer, wish her well. She's run about 10 or 12 marathons already, so this really will be pretty easy for you, huh? But I know you're excited. She's so excited. You should have seen her bouncing around this morning. She was so happy. But we're happy to be here in North Carolina, and looking forward to this race tomorrow. We will be back next week in the locker room, and look forward to seeing you there. But we're going to talk some more about stashing cash and helping you increase your financial security so you can get to be financially independent and win your money game. This is what it's all about. Guys, if you got questions or ideas on future shows, please share that with us below as well. And we look forward to seeing you on our next video.